All right. Speaking of psychic fish, we open with a cutscene with the members of Psychic Fish sitting in a conference room with the Spanish Italian Bard College guy,
Battalion.
Battalion, and he looks about the room and he goes, "Guys, I told you, I left her a note. She was supposed to be here today. I don't know what's going on."
And with a little Christopher Walken in there too.
Hey,
I don't know what's going on.
Guys, I gotta tell you, I don't know what's going on.
We need more cowbell. And they're like, well, she doesn't like us anyway anymore. Ever since we called it Psychic Fish, she's gotten all too good for us and stuff. He's like, no, but I mean, I wanted to wait till she was here, but I do have a proposal if you'd be interested. And they all lean forward. They're like, we're listening. And then we cut away.
Suspense.
Suspense, yes. We come back to exactly where we left off. As you have slain the vampire. Ow, cat, not now. I need my flesh. And you gathered up your treasures, which you may or may not have divvied up. I don't know if everybody was still here when I said that I tried to make sure that there's 2 items that everybody would find useful, but if you don't want to divvy them in that order, that's...
Did you say I have all the treasure? I think that's what you said.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. In fact, my guess would be if I went back to the tape that I definitely didn't say that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you made a copy of the...
Yeah, it's
a copy of it?
It's Durham Treasure is listed on in the journal entry. As far as the Holy Avenger goes, it is, at this moment, a +2 longsword.
It's not that guy's longsword
or something.
It was formerly Jax Paladin's Holy Avenger, but it is currently not an active Holy Avenger because of reasons. Because the god that it was, consecrated to doesn't exist anymore, so there might need to be steps taken.
So it's just a longsword +2 right
So right now it's a longsword +2, yeah. With all the appearance of a Holy Avenger.
Is that a... Okay.
But you...
Why?
What?
Just thought that line from Power Thirst. I think the line
with Manergy.
When God gives you lemons, you find a new god.
Yeah, Manergy.
Sounds right to me.
So when you come back into the throne room, Sheena and Hux are still seated at the foot of the stairs. William and Nevaeh waited with them to make sure they were okay. And the Queen is still just kind of sitting on the throne, just mindlessly staring off into space and occasionally sputtering weird, nonsensical statements. She kind of holds a pleasant conversation and then she'll get distracted and it's like someone hit reset.
Take her back with us?
Are you asking me?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, we probably should. She probably won't survive on her own here. Well, did you deal with the...
William. You won't survive much longer anyway. Look at her.
Ouch. As you're
waiting for a fresh subject.
As you're having this conversation, yes. You notice that the trees and the roots and things that have been intertwined with the walls are receding, but as they do, they're kind of starting to put undue strain on the building, and it begins to creak audibly.
Ooh.
And a piece of tile falls from the ceiling, just shatters at the far end of the throne room.
Hey, lady, you might want to get out of here.
She's like, "Oh, I don't ever leave my chair."
That thing must be rank.
How heavy is the chair?
She'll stand up, or she tries to stand up, and she's very weak on her feet. And she just kind of sways for a minute and then sits back down. Where would we go?
Some place that's not about to collapse.
Thump! Another hunk of tile comes off the ceiling. And there's an audible shift, or like a physical shift. The building kind of seems to settle on one side a little bit.
My lizard's kind of like running in circles, keeps looking at the door, and then whipping back and forth. He's like, "Can we go? Can we go?"
Yeah. These two, who are not very strong in their own right, will both kind of look at each other and then go over and try to help her off the throne. It's like, come on, Grandma, let's go.
Let's get you to bed.
Let's get you to bed.
Sure, Grandma. Let's get you to bed.
Osprey, can you help the lady Durham? We had better get out of here. Lady Sheena, can I call you Mom? Or we need to get out of here. Take my arm.
Yeah, she will do that. Everybody just kind of gets out of the building. As you're getting closer to the edge, or to the exit to the throne room, it's becoming obvious that the building's coming down if it wasn't already. And as you get outside into Durham proper, let's see. Can I turn the light all the way up? Yes, the sun is out, or the sun is just coming up, and the trees have completely shriveled away. Wow, this map looks bad with the white grid on it. It looks really bad.
It's your grid.
I know, right? It's Roll20's grid. It's probably, yeah.
They have a color.
There might have been a grid on the map too, so it might be like
Yeah, I think you
doubly
can
looking
change the
bad.
color of the squares.
I think I can, but I'm not going to do it now. And the patrols, any of the intelligent-looking undead, any of the undead that had eyeballs, seem to have run for cover now that there's sun coming through and the cloud cover seems to be receding. The skeletons are still kind of mindlessly standing on the street corners, but they're easily avoided. It's the big patrol that you guys had trouble skirting around, and that seems to be gone at this point, even though it's still on the map here. There, gone. So you can easily get out of Durham.
The wagon
Oh,
that they delivered, is that...
It was right in front of the castle, yeah. Take that. Well, it didn't have horses. It was pulled by the... You could use it, but you have to use human power to pull it.
But we have some people that aren't probably going to be able to walk the distance.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can get them in there and use it like a giant wheelbarrow and just kind of...
We only have to get to that town where we have the teleportation circle, though, so...
Right, but it's like a day away or half a day away. But really, you just have to get outside of Durham itself, which is not that hard to do. And by the time you get out of the city, I should pick some better music. It's not sad and depressing anymore.
Well, William is kind of looking around and wondering, so what will all these undead people do now?
They are undead. They just do what they do. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, Sheena says he's right. Many of them seem to just be repeating the actions they performed in life, and will probably continue to do so as long as there's a ruin to reside in. The more intelligent ones, I don't really know. But as I understand it, there's not many people on this side of the continent to harass anymore.
Oh. Well, that's kind of sad. Both the repeating things and the whole kingdom just gone.
It is amazing what the decisions of a few people can do to an entire continent.
Maya and Kronos are rolling over in their graves right now.
Yeah, right. I know. This is too happy
Some of
music.
these undead out here.
Nah, they were dead long before this happened.
That's what I mean. That's why they're.
Oh, you're reanimated? Yeah, Maya's walking around.
They're part of this nasty thing up here.
The flesh glob or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Zombie clot. That's
Zombie
what it
clot,
was.
yeah. They're part of the zombie clot.
It's so gross.
Who the fuck thinks of something like that?
I don't
We
know.
had a chicken that got mangled by a raccoon. It had just a lump that kind of flapped around, hanging off of
Ugh.
it. We call it
Ugh.
flesh lumpity.
Nice.
Gross. All right. Anyway, after you leave the town of Flesh Lumpity, you do see the whole. I mean, the town's going to survive physically. The buildings, most of them aren't like falling apart or whatever. But as you get outside of the city, you hear the castle come crumbling down in the background. And outside the town, you still see the only active farm in existence, and you are subtly reminded of the farmer's request before you entered Durham.
Yeah, we should try to bring any survivors along with us.
Yeah, because if the undead are going to go after anybody, it's going to be them.
And now they're not taking their vegetables anymore.
Right? Again, without like delving into small talk, that's probably not terribly necessary. Once you come outside of the city and the old guy's out there, he's like doing crop weeding and shit because it's, early in the morning, farmer stuff. And he sees you coming out with additional survivors, and he is just kind of like, well, also the town is falling apart around the Durham's. Like, there's a lot of shit going on down there. So he's just kind of, he comes over to you. He says, "What is happening? What is going on?"
The vampire lord has been vanquished.
For real? just kind of like, what? Are you returning home?
This is your queen here in the wagon.
It is. My lady. He kind of like drops to one knee. What is going on? Where are you taking her?
We are taking her to safety. The Durham is no longer under the control of the vampire lord.
Yes. I suppose it would be too much of an imposition to ask if myself and my grandchildren could join you as well. We have nothing here anymore.
I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm not sure how the teleportation circles work.
Anybody that can fit in the circle when it goes off is pretty much teleported. So you could get everybody.
Okay.
He says, it'll take a little while to gather our belongings. We don't have much, but if you could just wait.
Sure.
And he rushes into the house, just drops his trowels and whatever he was farming with, and runs in yelling, "Kids, gather your things!"
Oh yeah, it's a 10-foot diameter circle. So
Yeah, you'd get a cluster in there, but it's not 10-foot diameter. I mean, there's how many of you? 5, 6, 7,
And
8,
diameter's
11 with her,
right?
or with
So
no, radius is half, diameter's the whole thing.
okay.
So a 10-foot circle, but you could all stand in that.
How is it activated?
It's a spell.
Who has the
Yeah,
spell?
right. All right, people, stand here. Group hug.
Nevaeh has it.
I don't think we're here anymore, but yeah.
No, you're here now. Well, up here in Durham. Yeah, about an hour and a half later, you can, if you need a short rest happens. While they gather their things, and the farmer actually has a couple ox that he uses to like pull plows and stuff like that, so he can hook them up to the wagon to make it easier, and so people don't have to hold it and drag it. And you travel the half day or so, down to Cobbler's Knob to the ruins of the Dubious Virgin. Oh, we gotta go back to the sign.
Cobbler's Knob sounds dirty. And
It does.
is
Yeah.
there a Kessel
I think it always
Run?
was.
Wait.
There we go. Is there what?
I have to cast or have cast on me restoration or something, right, to get my hit points back at max? Or is this like
Oh no! After a long rest, that will go away.
okay? So we haven't had a long rest yet. All right.
No, you haven't had a long rest. It's just a short rest, so you can only go up to the reduced,
Redacted.
the redacted hit point total. But it's not that much of a big deal to get back to the Dubious Virgin, and in about 14, 15 hours. So it's the rest of the day. You get there by early evening. Real quick question. I don't want to lead the witnesses, but is anybody going to do anything before you go?
Before we head back to town.
Before you head back to Roldez.
I feel like there's something we're supposed to do now. I don't remember.
No. It's not like there's anything else you were supposed to do. I'm just, no. Okay, no big deal. If you don't think of it, you wouldn't do it. Then you don't do it.
I mean, generally just kind of trying to catch up with Sheena mostly, since we have
so
time
you're
now.
talking on the ride. Yeah, well that's easy enough to do. She wants to know everything about you.
Did we make sure that the Lich and the vampire were like not coming back?
Well, you made sure the vampire wasn't coming back, and the
Yeah,
the undead guy wasn't a lich. It was like a glorified, intelligent zombie type thing. It was a crypt warden, I think it was called.
Okay.
So everything has been defeated. The death dogs are all chopped up, and she definitely wants to know about how your life has been. Wants to be introduced to everybody, and I assume you explained that you all grew up together for the most part, and she tells you that she used to be a high-ranking priestess, whatever, of the Blessed Daughter Church in Roldez. Not like a ranking member or a management kind of level, but just like somebody who'd been with the church for their whole life. And your father was a huntsman, a royal huntsman in the Roldez service. whatever. And one day he didn't come home, and for 2 or 3 nights she worried about what happened to him. And then finally his body was found in the woods, torn apart, and she was told it was by wolves. But they wouldn't let her look at the body. And she kept hounding who she refers to as the king's chief advisor. And finally she says she wore her down to the point where she was allowed to examine him, and she knew right away that they looked like human bites. And she knew that something was off, and she wouldn't let it go. And for years she was just on it like a dog with a bone, just hounding, trying to figure out what had happened. And she just wore down Lady Lithe basically until she gave her all the information that she wanted. And then she decided she was going to come over and defeat this vampire once and for all. And everyone told her she was crazy for even... Anyone who knew about Darum told her she was crazy for trying. And she says in hindsight, maybe it wasn't such a great idea. But now he's dead, and perhaps you wouldn't have come here to defeat him if she hadn't been captured and spent a decade in a horrible prison. And Hux has kind of a similar story. He jumped through the portal all those years ago, wound up outside of this city further south. I forgot which one it was called.
Castle.
Yep, that one, Castle, because he did a run there. And the town was being besieged by minor undead, so he helped them build a palisade wall and a defense and hold them off for a long time. But eventually the numbers just grew too great. They stormed the town, and just before they were going to execute him, the zombie lord, intelligent undead that was leading the whole charge, recognized the religious symbols he was wearing, realized that he was a member of the Order of the Risen Martyr, and instead took him prisoner, because it's just the kind of person that Malbach liked to feed on. And for the last few years for him, it's been every night, regular visits, regular drainings of blood, and just constant beatdowns by the torturers, the ones that you killed. Because as I was pointing out to you before, when they hit you, they just reduce you to 0. They don't kill you. So they would just basically keep them at 0 hit points constantly. Or at slowly regaining hit points and then beating them down again. And so it's been torturous. And every so often you catch both of them kind of just like reassessing if it's real. There's still that moment of confusion, like I'm going to wake up any second. This is whatever. But after the trip to the Dubious Virgin, they get better. They come to. Here we go. Let's do this. Oops. How come? There we go. Why? There we go. Who am I missing? Where's Jimmy? Why are there... No, not Garen. Garen, get out of here.
I was wondering.
I grabbed the wrong one.
He saw Dubious Virgin. He knew there was beer.
Beer!
All right. Sign me up.
Yeah. So it's you folks traveling, and you get to the travel circle, and you all have to stand in the cluster. What was that beep?
I don't know.
It's me.
Oh.
Your dinner's ready?
No,
For a
just
second, I
taking my
thought it was
temperature.
in my office, like my power supply was beeping or something. Oh, what?
Oh! Yes, they would sound like limousine. You're right. You cast the circle spell, and you reappear in a falling apart barn out behind your former home, now turned active inn. There are a few horses in here, which means someone's staying at the inn right now. And the former queen kind of looks around like, "Oh, it's a barn. I'm in a barn."
Is this fun and exciting for her?
She seems to be like interested. The changes of scenery are helping the like Alzheimer's. There's a lot of simulation going on, so she's actually more focused. Put her on here too. Oh, she's too small. I'm too small. Here I am.
Oh, milady, are you interested in barns and farming and that sort of thing?
What a unique smell. Smells like an outhouse.
Well, yes.
This is where the animals do their business.
She starts stumbling toward the door.
Let's take her inside and feed her, guys.
And when you come outside of Dubious Virgin, it is about 3 hours later over here than it was where you just were. Like, the sun is definitely up. And there's no one here to greet you because you didn't cast a sending spell to tell them you were coming, which is what I was wondering if you might do. And
Nah, we're just gonna walk back into the house or the inn or whatever and go, "Dad, we're home!"
well, he lives across the street now in a small apartment because the inn is an active inn. But he is close by. Sheena's kind of looking around like... I mean, it's been a decade and a lot of the city has been revised. And then she kind of jumps like a little shock, jump scare as a couple Dragonborn walk by. As she has never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
And the city is like a third of them now. She's like, "What's that?"
Oh, there's a Dragonborn. They just started moving in a few months ago.
Kind of takes you by the shoulders, spins you around, and says, "Is it a takeover?"
No, they're perfectly nice. Well, some of them, one of them gets kind of angry sometimes, but she's nice otherwise. Yeah, they're pretty much like us, other than they have scales and breathe fire and stuff like that.
She's like,
He's trying to say that we grew up with one of their kind. She is our sister now.
Yeah.
And when she found her heritage, she realized that there were some that needed rescuing from their home island, and so now they're here.
"Oh,
William, why don't you take her across the street so that Dad can talk to her for a while?"
Oh, yeah. And we probably should let Miranda know, I guess, that we're back, and Garen, and, the others. Oh, right, I can,
Let me walk into the inn, and I'll let people know. I'm sure it'll spread that we're back.
I'll use... Where is it?
Osred, do you want to take Hux to the church?
Yep. That's what
Or the-
yeah. Take Hux back to the
the barracks, I guess.
Yep.
Whatever the word would be. All right. Well, that's
I'm sure somebody will be happy to see him.
Right. Let's see.
I'll use my Farscribe feature. I'll pen a short note to Miranda saying, Hey, we're back. We got them. We'll be at Castor's place.
Don't know if that one works, but actually, let's see. Get that out of there. This looks like a churchy looking thing. Let's go with. Sure. All right. So you two head basically up toward the palace because that's close to where the headquarters of the Risen Martyr office is, whatever you want to call it. He's still pretty weak. I mean, 4 levels of exhaustion will do that to you. But as you approach the fortress, or whatever, some of the other regular soldiers see you coming and they start to wave. They wave at you because they know Osbright, whatever, but then they start to recognize, wait, Hux! And people start running in. He's back! And they start ringing the alarm bells, and there's a bit of a muster as many of the knights just start surrounding him. They go in there, each reaching in a hand, clapping his shoulder, touching him, whatever it is, and he's a little overwhelmed because he's exhausted, and so he kind of leans against something, and he's smiling and he's taking it in, but he's just starting to really feel it. And then the crowd just parts, and Lady Redgrave appears at the head of the chamber, and she just kind of stops, and like a hush just falls over the room, and she just walks over to him, and she stands in front of him,
slaps him in the face,
and she gives him a slap across the face. I was going to say that, and says, "Don't jump through portals where you don't know where they go." And then she just gives him a hug, and everyone starts cheering, "Yay!" And he just kind of, and then when they stop hugging, they both have like tears coming down, and she's like, "We need to get you cleaned up." She says, take Hux to the infirmary and get him seen to." And then as all the men just kind of walk off with him going, "Where have you been, buddy?" And it's like that, men's locker room kind of thing going on with them, leaving just her and you in the chamber. And she just kind of puts a hand on your shoulder, and she says, "Osbright, you have been nothing but a boon to this knighthood."
Yes, my lady.
You it is not our way to reward with money or any kind of worldly items, but just know that you have my deepest respect, and anything you need or want, I will do my best to help you.
Well, I would say cough, cough, Roshan, but
Right, but I feel like, and this could be just me misreading paladins, but I feel like it wouldn't really be about, like, you did a great job, here's a promotion, you did a great job, here's a big bag of gold. It's more like just the recognition.
You could
and
tell me if you know anything about this sword.
You hold it out, and she looks at it, and her eyes just like saucers. "Where did you get this?"
It was in the Durham Keep.
That's wow. I think I might be able to look up some things. That seems to be a relic from before the Risen Martyr. I think that is potentially a very powerful weapon in the hands of one of our order. Do you mind if I examine it?
Oh, of course not.
I will see what I can find out, and I will definitely let you know. This is fascinating. She's kind of like looking at it, and then she's like, "Oh wait, Hux is home. Ah, so much to do." But she again claps you on the shoulder. She's like, "You've done a good service, and I will look into this immediately, time permitting. I do have a barracks to run. But you must be exhausted, and there is a festival going on this weekend. Apparently, that is you're welcome to attend. It's up at the Bard College. They're throwing a big all weekend bash. It's a few gold to get in, but they're raising money to help with the rebuilding of the dock area. So,
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go over there too.
she kind of stops. She puts the sword, on her belt or whatever it is, and she turns around. And before you leave, she gives you a very formal salute. Like a respectful salute. Yeah.
Look back.
And then she will pick it up once again. And as she's walking away, she's like looking at the hilt, and she'll like stop where the sun is hitting it. And just there's definitely an appraising curiosity. Meanwhile, Nevaeh goes into the bar and says, "We're back!" And a bunch of people you don't know look up and go, "Huh?" And Osric, you were sending, William, you were sending a message to Miranda, was it?
Yeah.
Message spell or your book trick?
My book
I guess
thing.
that's the same thing. She says, "I'll be right there, or are you coming to the castle? Where are you going? Where are you now? What's going on?"
Going to Castor. Should I
I'll
come
meet
to you, or?
I'll meet you there.
Okay.
All right.
Hope Dad isn't too mad about this.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, they do say sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but,
You tried to ask for permission. He said no, so we went anyway.
I mean, you did save your mother and a couple of other people, so I think he can forgive you. Or us
All right,
for this.
so who's going? The old lady's following you around unless you don't take her with you.
yeah, what should we do with Lady Darum? Should we take her to the castle, or the king, or...
Well, by this time, I'm probably going across the street to Dad's because I don't recognize anybody in the bar.
It's true.
And I'll say that I can take her up to the castle. I'll walk with her.
All right. So you're not here, or you go in, or you catch up, and then you take her. So you walk into the house with your mother, and is anyone else going with you?
I'll go with you.
Rick is going
'Cause
to...
why not?
There he is. All right. You walk into the house, and your dad's sitting on the couch, and he's reading a book or the newspaper or whatever it is he reads, smoking a little pipe. Nice smell of sweet tobacco is in the house. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is now.
Cigar smoke definitely smells better than cigarette smoke.
And he says, "Oh, William, you're..." And then he just kind of stops mid-sentence when your mom's head peeps around the corner.
I'm Dad, I'm home, or I'm Dad, home? No, hi Dad, I'm home.
Hi, home, I'm Dad.
Brought a guest. I hope that's okay.
He stands up, puts the cigar down, and immediately walks over, and he goes, "You did it, William! You did it!" It's good
Well-
to see you again. And he kind of grabs her hand by the forearm, kind of a grab.
More we all did it, but
I didn't think you would live. And she's like, I didn't think I would either. It's good to see that you're still around, Castor. It's like, have a seat. You look awful. And, she kind of
Said no guy to a woman ever.
And she sits down in the first soft chair she's had since you got her out of the cell. And she's kind of like, this look of, just the body just soaking into the chair. He's like, let me get you some tea. She's like, oh, I would love some tea. And assuming the two of you just kind of watch, they just start talking about stuff that predates both of your births, probably. Like, they apparently were at least acquaintances in Roldez, and they're catching up the same kind of stories you would already know. And he's serving her tea, and he's got some cookies, and she's just nibbling at it because it's the most rich food she's had in a long time. So she's trying to be real careful, but this goes on for the rest of the afternoon into the evening, unless you have other things you want to do.
I probably want to catch up with Garen
Okay.
at some point. Did he know that we were going? I don't remember.
Yes. He had one of the care package presents included in it.
Okay.
We didn't even have to use the stakes.
So Nevaeh takes the
We used
queen
one.
to the palace. And she's looking around going, oh, this is such a nice city. It's so big. It's so much bigger than my city. And as you help her up the stairs into the castle, she's like, and this palace is so beautiful. Look at the trim. All the stained glass windows are clean. Look at these lizard people standing up wearing armor. Aren't they cute? Aren't you cute?
Some of
And
them,
one of
Your
the
Highness.
soldiers is just trying to not react as she's just kind of poking at the armor. Can they speak? Are they trained to speak?
They are their own person, Your Highness. They're friends.
They kind of just bemusedly look at you, and they nod as you walk by. When you enter the palace, where are you planning to take her?
I mean, not necessarily the throne room, but I feel like she'd be more comfortable in a palace, maybe the room that they set aside for other royalty guests, But I'm not sure who to ask. I'll look around for a page or King's assistant or something.
Right. Well, there's pages and stuff all around. They're like, Lady Nevaeh, do you wish to speak with His Royal Highness?
Only if he's free. This is Her Highness from Durham.
That's pretty funny. But seriously though, who is?
Do I look like I'm
oh,
kidding?
you're serious. Oh.
Yes, I am.
Just wait right here. And he kind of runs off. And in not too much time, the king arrives.
That was cute.
With a few guards. What?
Oh, you're serious? Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, and he approaches and he says, this is the Queen Durham?
Yes.
He will hold out his hand and take hers. It's like, Your Highness, it is an honor to meet you. She's like, oh, nice. And who are you? He says,
Your
well,
Highness, this is... Sorry.
I am King Uric II, the son of your former husband. Oh, is he passed on? No, he's tending to the farm. He's living his best life. He chose to denounce the throne, to go back to what he loves. She says, I would most like to see him, if I could, please. Perhaps I owe him an apology. Says, he kind of looks at you, and he says, she's in good hands if you have other things to do.
I give him a curtsy and I say, thank you, Your Highness. I should probably get to the Bard College.
He says, well, come with me, and we'll go visit my father. Guards, if you would mind escorting her, and they kind of help, take her along. Right this way. They lead her off in another direction. The Bard College is not that far from here.
Okay.
And I won't change the backdrop, but you head over that way. And you can head to Enrico's office. And he looks up and he goes, Ay, Nevea! I take it you didn't get my message.
I was out of town.
Well, I sent you 2 messages. One requesting your presence 2 nights ago at my office, and another one to let you know how the meeting went. I reached instead of doing a single concert, we're doing a 3-night festival. So, if you're still interested, if it's not too late, you can perform Saturday night on the main stage. And we will have Psychic Fish open on Friday night. That way you're both headlining. I even took the liberty of making this poster. I wish I thought of this ahead of time and made the poster, but it's got the Psychic Fish logo, and then also Nevea plastered across the front, like photoshopped on.
And sometimes why?
Sometimes why?
No, that sounds good, actually.
You just let me know what you want on the stage, and I will make it happen. Give me a list, and I will do it. Do it for you.
Oh, let's see. Probably an arrangement of different instruments on the stage. There are multiples that I know how to play. And then if I choose to, then I may end up calling people up from the crowd. If they know how to play the instrument, they are allowed to play with me.
Oh, crowd interaction. I like it. I'll make sure to have stairs accessible on the front of the stage. Very good. Nice. All right. He's scurrying all this down. It's like, all right. I can make this happen. This is tomorrow night, Tomorrow night.
What's today?
Well, actually, it's like Thursday, we're going to say. So tomorrow is when the show starts. Saturday would be the night that you play.
Exactly.
Yes. Good. And I will scrap this poster or make a separate poster just for you. I will add with crowd interaction across the bottom so that people will show up with their instruments. A great time. I love it so much. And he runs off to get this thing settled. Now, in the meantime,
so too happy about this.
I know. He looks kind of smarmy, but a little happy. So Osric is heading to Garen's office, And I don't have a good backdrop. We'll go back to that one.
Yeah, that works. Oh, okay.
And change the music. Sure, why not? Sounds more like the party, but actually, no, I want something a little bit more interesting. So you head into his office, and he looks up, and he's like, Osric, you're back! How did your mission go? Did you change your mind?
No, we did what we set out to do. Williams, we were able to find his mother. He was being held in a prison cell. I'll give him the whole rundown of everything that happened.
Okay. He looks at you a little bit, and he says, do you mind? And he casts Detect Magic. And he just kind of looks you over. He's like, sorry, I was... Old habits. I have to make sure that you are not being mind-controlled or a spy of some kind.
No, it's really me.
Well then, you'll forgive my skepticism that you say you were successful, but I have seen what you and your family can do. It's just, I've faced off against that Malvok once, and I didn't have great hopes. Did the care package help, I hope?
It did, yes. Especially the steak where you... Well, let's say Malavok won't be coming back.
Ah, that is a turning point right there. And the Lady Durham, how is she?
Came back with us.
She's here.
Mm-hmm. Vea was bringing her to the castle.
So he didn't turn her then?
No.
I wonder what his motivations were. Well, I guess we'll never know now. No matter. Good riddance to bad garbage.
Yeah.
I believe Lady Grepla wished to speak with you when you returned. I will admit I told her you probably wouldn't, but it's good to see that I was wrong.
I'm glad you were wrong, too.
Is there something you wanted to ask me or tell me now that you're back?
No, I just wanted to let you know that I was back and how everything went.
That's excellent news. I will send Grepla a message that you're here.
Okay.
He does a little cast a spell, mumbles a little couple words under his breath, pauses for a moment, and says, she has asked you to meet her at the observatory, if you could.
Okay. I will go there.
Which is actually not finished yet. It's been under construction for like a month on one of the corner towers of Durham. They're putting in one of those big observatory things.
You mean Roldez?
Did I say Durham? I gotta stop doing that. Yes,
I thought it was in Durham.
Yeah, she's moving all the way to Durham. Yes, in Roldez. And it's not that far of a walk from here. When you head over, you hear the sounds of banging and hammers, and you see a lot of Dragonborn working on the stuff. And she's, of course, standing out front, barking orders. No, that doesn't go there. That goes over here. You've put that on upside down, you fool. And then she turns around. Oh, Osric. So good to see you're back.
Mm-hmm.
Garen was so convinced you were going to die, but I told him, no. Do not discount Osric. He's a smart cookie, that boy.
Well, thank you for your faith.
I have something I want to show you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And she will take you into like the ground floor of the observatory, which is the old tower, which is intact at the moment. And as you walk in, it smells like incense. She's definitely converted it into her personal quarters. It looks a lot like the tower where you first met her on the Dragon Isles. There's like partially completed machines and all kinds of scroll work and just magical garbage all over the place. She says, after our conversation the other day, I had some thoughts. And I want to show you something that I've not shown anyone. And she goes over to the bookshelf, and she pulls out what looks like a personal journal. She says, when I was just starting out in this line of magic that I've been pursuing, I went down some paths that I'm not proud of. But when I saw you in the library, and I saw what you were looking at, I realized that you are going to take some of those same paths. The research itself I don't believe to be bad, but some of the routes to get there... She just kind of hands you the notebook. She says, I'm hoping that with this information you can bypass some of my mistakes.
Okay.
And she just kind of turns away as you flip through the book. And what you see, it's old, right? Like, she's old, and this book is probably 40 years old now. But there's a lot of notes that appeared to involve attempting to graft some of the magically machine parts onto cats, or she did some what are somewhat regrettable animal experimentation, it looks like.
Ouch.
Including an article, like a paper clipping or whatever it is, from a town that got attacked and 2 people died when a strange bear with like a metal claws had rampaged into town, with her notes saying better restraints necessary, or whatever, just like she was definitely going down a path similar to the kind of things you're looking into.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't a lot of necromancy spells on the artificer list. I was looking at that. A few at the lower levels. So it's basically a useful research note so that you don't have to go and vivisect a bunch of rats and things just to figure out how magic interacts with it.
Okay.
And as you're looking through this book, she kind of says, like, I'm not proud of any of this, but it's still useful information. And I would hope you can put it to some good use and spare a few critters an untimely demise.
I'm certain I can. I have no intention on experimenting on living creatures.
Oh, good. See, I always knew you were smarter than me, Osric.
Well, I don't know about that.
You're a good kid. Now I have an observatory to unbungle.
Let's get back to the tongue lashing.
She goes back outside and says, look at that! I go away for 5 minutes and you've already put the telescope in upside down. There's no telescope inside. She's just like, she had that in the chamber before she walked out the door. Meanwhile, we're gonna unless anybody has anything specific, we're gonna fast forward a few little, like a montage of scenes. We see, lots of people going around meeting the queen, meeting Sheena. Hux comes back out of the sauna area with his beard all braided and his head all shined up in a new set of armor because he doesn't have his old armor, and he still looks a little weak, but he's standing at attention with the rest of the knights. We see nightfall. We see Sheena sleeping in an actual bed for once and just really feeling good. We see the next morning, people having breakfast. Again, we gotta have happy music. Let's see. Here we go. We'll go back to that one. William and Osric and Nevaeh show up at Castor's house and having breakfast at his place with Mom, whatever. Maybe Vanrill's there too, tossing the lizard scraps over the table. Osbright's out riding patrol around Durham with Hux and a few other knights, pointing out the changes that have undergone to Durham since he came back, because he's been gone since the beginning of this campaign. So again, the Dragonborn, he would have known Heskar, but all these other Dragonborn are new to him too. And we see the town starting to get ready for the concert. We see psychic fish posters appear all over town. And alongside them, there's the Nevaeh's crowd interaction party tonight at whatever it is, only 10 gold at the door. Whatever, all the different posters and things going on. And it seems like a good chunk of the city's planning on going. Like, it's a little expensive, but everybody understands that it's a benefit for rebuilding, and so they're setting aside money that they would have donated anyway. And you see wagons full of different food and supplies and stuff heading toward the college area where they're going to set up the feasts. They take donations. Vanrill's out helping hunt some big boars and shit to spit roast for the feast and whatnot.
That sounds amazing.
Right? And as night starts to fall and everyone is heading for the concert, I need to go back to spooky music again. That's too spooky. I just want calm, quiet music.
I'm sorry, but I can't help but notice the name on the poster, Android Fisted Bean.
I was looking at that too.
I don't know. I don't know why it likes to put things in there. I tried to make another poster, and
I don't know. Storm Thorgegensen sounds like a Chris name to me.
That sounds like a dwarf.
That's why I usually put it down here like this.
Sounds like an alias of Gunner.
Yeah.
I'm Storm Thorgeson.
Thorgegensen.
Right.
So this is my friend, Android Feasted Bean.
So your mother is planning on attending the party, but she does spend most of the next day still resting because they're still at 3 levels of exhaustion. They're still, it's going to take 3 more days.
4 days,
before they're at full power. So she's spending the day with Castor, walking around Roldez and whatnot, and you're along for the ride as well most of the time. But as she's getting ready for the show, she says she'll meet you there, and you should probably get there early because you're one of the important people here in the city. And as you're walking down the alleys on your way to the palace, it's just after sundown. It's kind of dark out. And I'm going to get you guys off the screen and put William on the screen. Get that off. And you feel a presence walking along beside you. She kind of just appears there. And she kind of puts a hand out. You can feel her hand touch your shoulder. She says, "You did it, William. You did it."
Thanks to you. Thank you.
No, I only told you about it. You did everything that needed to be done. She kind of keeps looking. Every time you walk by an alleyway or whatever, she kind of looks down it, which is uncharacteristically nervous acting for her. And she says, I do have to tell you, William, this might be the last time I can come to you in this form.
What? Why? Why's that?
I might have overstepped. She starts using a little bit more mature language than what you're used to coming out of her. Not like she was hiding it the whole time, but more like there's more coming through, if that makes any sense. She says, your mother was very important to me, as are you. But, and again, she kind of looks down the alleyway. She says, I'm not supposed to take such a direct input in what happens down here. See Vanderill's lizard peeking in the corner over there.
Vanderill's lizard can see her?
He's back. Yes, Vanderill's lizard's following you and watching. She says, I've been reprimanded and told that to say my piece. It's time for me to go.
Reprimanded? But by who?
The others. We have a role to fill, and it's not one-on-one like this. But I needed to guide you, and I needed to get your mother back when the time was right. I'm not leaving you, but I can't. I may not be able to arrive in this form and speak to you directly anymore.
Just...
And then as she's walking down one of the alleys, she just kind of freezes and she's looking down the alleyway. She's not frozen, like broken, but just kind of, she sees something that you don't immediately see. She says,
what do you see?
I want to make a joke. I want to say my ride's here. She says, yeah, my time is up. I have to go. She turns one last time to you. She says, William, you are a strong person, and you've surrounded yourself with strong people. I don't think you need me anymore.
Well, if you're sure, but...
It's not that I have to be sure, it's that I don't have a choice.
I guess.
The former Gus got in trouble for a similar...
Well, I guess you said you'll be here, but I'll miss you, but thank you.
You will still have all the abilities I've granted you, and then some. I'll be watching you. I'll be taking great interest in your progress. Uh-oh, I sound like Emperor Palpatine.
Cue 2 movies later.
Puts her hand on her shoulder.
And then she turns and down the alley, and she starts walking. She looks over her shoulder one last time and just kind of smiles at you. And then you see that childish personality seems to return as she turns and she walks. And as she walks in the alley, you begin to see a figure on the far end, wearing a pale white mask, holding its hand out, gesturing her to come forward. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
I don't like that.
And she walks forward toward him, and she holds her hand out, and then they both just slowly fade from view.
I wonder who that was. Was Sheena there? She was there, right?
No, it was just you and
Oh, okay.
just you and her. She disappears too.
And
Who knows?
Venerable Lizard.
She might show up again someday. Yes, and Venerable Lizard spying from the sidelines. And you get to the concert. And we're going to go back to the concert stage here.
Oh, this is familiar.
Yeah. There's a lot of people there. Everybody you see the tokens of, you can tell how old it is because the green rings still show up on the cards and the nobles. Yes, Miranda is there, and the queen is there, and actually she would be probably standing right next to her ex. I'll be there. They seem to be getting along pleasantly. King Herrick will thank everybody, every one of you personally, that you spared her. He's like, we may have had our differences, but she wasn't a terrible person, just prone to influence. And Dura and Navora are there, obviously, but they're more in bouncer mode. As the Spaniard steps up on stage and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Nevaeh!" And you come out on stage.
Wait a minute, wait. We're not
It's Friday
gonna...
now. Oh no, you're right. You get Saturday night.
I get Saturday night.
Right. So he announces
Psychic Fish.
Psychic Fish! And Psychic Fish comes out on stage and they perform a whole set. And it's fun and it's great. And then we have another montage, and we have another day of regular day, blah, blah, blah. And it's the second day, massive festival. And now it's your turn, because I want you to play. I don't want to role play an entire day's worth of just the same kind of small talk stuff we just did. But all day, well, let's say Friday night is the first concert. All day Saturday is just a giant festival. And most of the adults, the older adults, don't even show up for most of it. But they do show up back at the stage because they want to see Nevaeh perform. When you start making your pleas for people to play... there's a couple people in the audience that have instruments. An entire first grade class with their recorders come running up on the stage at one point.
Aw, absolutely.
And so you play a little thing with them, and all their parents are clapping and happy, and nobody really complains about it. Ooh, that's a nat 1.
You're matching your skills.
Yes. You play down to the children's level.
Sure.
Do any of your siblings have an instrument skill they want to play with you? I know one.
I know one that does. And he's played with me before.
But is he brave enough to get up on stage in front of all these people?
I think he is.
Okay.
Or is it he's stupid enough?
That
Maybe
too.
a little of both.
I'll move over, put you there. All right, so both of you play. I want to see the rolls.
Performance again, huh?
Yep. With William rolling 2 this time. See if he outplays you.
Oh wow, I do have performance and the skills or the
Yeah, roll it with advantage because you're playing the instrument and you're singing.
Okay.
Or playing.
Oh,
Jam.
oops.
You didn't even roll with advantage.
Persuasion?
Okay. Oh
Yeah,
whoops.
right?
Well, I have the same thing for performance, so
Persuaded
Nice.
the audience to think he's doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I do too.
I'm waiting to see you roll. See if he beat you. Whoa, no, he didn't.
Holy shit.
So she's been holding back, playing with everyone else, and then when William gets up there and he starts putting on a real good show, then she has to take out all the stops and be like, well, I'm not going to let you outperform me in front of all these people. And it just gets the crowd really riled up. You see William's mom is just beaming, and you can see her walking around going, that's my son! That's my son! Just anybody that'll listen, you know.
What instrument are you playing, by the way? Because I'm on the viol.
What? You're on the viol? Okay, well, any one of mine is different than yours anyway, so it would depend on the mood I'm in. That's why I have all of my instruments on stage, so I can pick one.
Right.
Well,
So
what mood is it?
It's probably a
Drum.
liar kind of mood.
So, which is kind of like a small harp, right? So you got a harp and a violin, basically.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we just need Storm Thorgeson and Android Fisted Bean for a string quartet.
Right? For drums and guitar, yeah.
It's a psychic fisherman.
He's out there. He's in the audience clapping away, going, "No, I trained them!" Or her, I trained her!
No, he didn't.
So at that point, you basically run the show till late. Like, most of these people filter out, but you keep the energy high, you keep the drink flowing, and you keep the party going. And much like PAX, Sunday's a little bit more subdued. There's not as much going on.
I hope the enthralling performance gets people talking about it.
Right. Not as many people show up for the festival on Sunday. A few of the stragglers, people who don't have to work on Monday morning. And you are off the stage as Enrico steps up and he says, friends and relatives and those who decided to come out on this last day of our festival, I would like to introduce you to a special group that is performing one night only. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Pretty Little Liars! And that's when the credits roll.
There's even a poster.
Aww.
The banner rolls down behind them.
Nice.
And we go to credits.
Holy shit, it's us. Look at that.
And the credits roll, and the credits roll, and the credits roll, and then there's a mid-credits scene. But I gotta change the music.
There's Storm Thorgeson.
I really like that poster, actually.
I made a few. That's the best one.
Yeah.
We see the teleportation circle chamber in the palace. We can hear, off in the distance, Pretty Little Liars playing. We can't quite make out the words, but we can hear the music and a boisterous duet going on. As the teleportation circle flares to life and a dragonborn appears in a hood. A tentacled hand comes up and pulls the hood back.
Nope, I'm done.
In the other hand is a staff, also with a tentacle on it. The dragonborn has gray skin, some barnacles kind of stuck to the side of its face. And it appears to be somewhat female. As it steps off the teleportation circle and walks toward the exit, it says, "So this is Roldez. And the camera kind of pans in and pans down to her little rucksack she's got over her shoulder, where the edges of a handwritten, steamy romance novel poke out of the top of the duffel bag. End of session.
I wondered when she'd
I'm
show
done.
up.
You can level up, obviously. I was going to let you do it when you first got into Roldez, but I forgot. Not that it matters for stats-wise, but... You wondered when she'd show up?
Mm-hmm.
So that was about an hour and a half.
Let me hit the
Mhm.
stop button.
Yes, you can hit the stop.